back in Columbus and joined now by a familiar face for Buckeye fans. Defensive coordinator Jim Heacock, kind enough to spend a couple moments with us. And Coach, one big piece of news already early on in camp, a head injury sustained by Tyler Moeller in the offseason. A couple of questions for you. First of all, what do you know about his status for this year? And second of all, how does that affect you guys at the linebacker position?
Well, I'll start with the second first. I think at linebacker, we were counting on him. He was going to be a starter for us. Probably came through spring ball as being, our most productive linebacker. Had a good year last year when he played, started the Illinois game and played. So he is going to be a loss. He was a good player for us. He's what you look for as a coach. All the intangibles, works hard, means a lot to him. As far as his prognosis for the future and this year, I don't think anybody's really certain right now. He did have a head injury, and I know he's rehabbing right now with the doctors. When he's going to come back, I'm not sure. I'm not sure they know, and I'm not sure we're going to know for a period of time yet. I think it'll be a day-to-day thing, and see how he does down the road. But I would question whether we'd have him for a period of time.
Jim, you opened with Navy, a great option team. Does that change what you do during camp? Do you start your game plan early? How do you handle a team like that?
They've led the nation in rushing the last 4 years, so we know, and it's a little bit different, as you know. It's just a totally different offense that you're facing. So, fortunately, we do have some camp time, and we are, obviously we're going to spend some time in camp. We've done, spend some time preseason trying to, get an idea of what they do, getting a look at them and some of the different things that the problems that they present for you. So we are going to take a period, as we get closer to the first game, we will take some time in camp and start to at least try and figure out what they're doing and figure out how you try and slow them down.
Coach, when you look at your defense, particularly the defensive line, a group that you're very familiar with, how dominant do they need to be this year from a standpoint of the youth that's going to be at linebacker and some of the new guys that are going to be stepping into the secondary?
I think, I always feel like you're going to be as good as your defensive line. I really think your defensive line has to dominate if you're going to be good, and I think the better defenses that we've had around here have had dominant defensive lines. How good this group's going to be, I think it's still, uncertain. I think they got to prove themselves, and I think, I guess probably to answer your question, they better be real dominant. I think we're fairly young on the back end, real young really in the secondary other than the safeties. Corners are young, linebackers are going to be new. Austin Spittler's a senior and a very good player, but he just hasn't played much, so he's going to be young from an experience standpoint. And our defensive front's going to have to dominate. We're going to have to be able to pressure a quarterback. We're going to have to be able to, get into the creases and slow down the run a little bit. And I think for us to be where we want to be and be the type of defense we want to be, I think those guys are going to have to step up and dominate as much as they can.
Jim Heacock, defensive coordinator for Ohio State. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us, Coach.
Good. Thank you, Dave. Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Howard.